Hi everybody, so we're back here now with part 3. I've got my test bed beater SU30 version 4 here from RC Powers. So I've already got the receiver set up the way that it needs to be, and I've made sure that it's been bound to my FlySky transmitter. Essentially, all I did was I changed the name of the test rig to RC Powers SU30, which you'll see here when I fire it up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go through, again, this is a process that I've learned through trial and error on how to set this, just to fine tune our control surfaces and our throws. So anyway, because I haven't set the throttle points, I'm just going to demonstrate to you. I mentioned in the last video this kind of annoying beeping noise that your motor will make until you set the throttle points. So we'll just plug it in. So you can hear that, it's just constantly beeping. So we're going to unplug it, set ourselves up so that we would, the way that we'd set our throttle points. So my throttle kill switch is off, advance that to full throttle, plug it in, 2 beeps, set the throttle points, okay, motor works. So now that annoying sound has gone away. So I'm just going to put my throttle kill switch on that I had. So yeah, so that's what happened. I noticed that I couldn't figure out why, and until I set the throttle points, it wouldn't stop beeping. Is the only way that I could get it to stop. So okay, so let's go into so we can see we've got our throws here. I know it's difficult for you to see the right aileron. Yeah, it's going the way it's supposed to, and rudders are going the way they're supposed to. Okay, so let's get into to sort of the fine tuning. So again, we press OK, function setup, OK. So first of all, we're going to pull back here, and I don't have anywhere near, normally I fly this with a lot more throw. So for the Elevons, anyway, we go into our Elevon mix. So we're going to navigate down to our Elevon mix. Okay, so you see here we have 2 choices. We have channel 1, channel 2. So we know channel 1 is our aileron, and channel 2 is elevator. So I obviously want a lot more throw, or I want a lot more throw in the pitch. So again, we navigate down. So channel 2 is the elevator. I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to pull the stick back and then increase it. So you can see that my elevator is going up. I'm going to take it all the way up to 100%. So now I've got way more throw there in the pitch. Now if I wanted to change the amount of throw I have in the roll portion of my Elevon, again that's channel 1. So I would, just for demonstration purposes, I'm probably not going to do a whole lot more than that, but we'll test it at the field. So again, I'm just going to show you. So you can see they're moving in opposite directions. So I've got a lot more throw now in my roll part of my Elevon. So I'm going to take that back down probably to, let's say, about 55%. So that looks good there. All right, so I'm happy with the throws that I have in my Elevons. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Now, in my mixes, if I'm actually happy with the throw in my ailerons for now, but I'm just going to show you. So I go up to my mixes, and if I wanted to adjust the throw in any direction on this aileron, I go down to positive negative mix. Now you've got to remember that this is, we reversed this, we reversed channel 5. So if I go, I'm going to push my stick all the way over. So if I go and try to adjust the positive mix, nothing happens. But if I go the other way in positive mix, you can see it's, I'm sorry for the chattering in the servos. So it's moving down. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to Bring that back up to 50. This is why it's a beater plane. It's got old servos. Okay, so again, and the same thing now, if I wanted it to deflect more upwards, then I would go negative because again, I've reversed the channel. So hopefully you can see it's deflecting further up. But whatever you end up doing, you probably want the positive and negative mix to be exactly the same, so that your aileron especially is deflecting equally both up and down. So I'm actually going to take mine back down to 50 because I was already happy with the oops. So while we're in here, this mix, I'm going to show you why I set this offset to 0 and why I turn these variometers all the way off. Is now if I turn this variometer, you see that it will actually modify what my aileron is doing, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why I found this minus 50 value here, so that they would be centered, and I've got these all the way off or turned all the way counterclockwise. So that's something that I will constantly check. But yeah, you can see, and then same thing would happen with variometer B over on the right aileron. I'm hopefully not sure if you're able to see that, but you get the drift there. So we're going to exit out of that, and it would be the same thing with channel 6, which is your other aileron, if you wanted to change that. Okay, so let's say for example I pull back, and actually I can see here, I know it's very hard for you to see, but my right Elevon is deflecting up just a few degrees more than my left Elevon, which I don't want to have happen because I don't want to pull the plane up in the vertical to do a loop or a split S and then have it start to roll. So how we're going to fix that is we're going to navigate up to endpoints. Okay, so I pull back. Now I'm probably going to just bring channel 2 because I know this is plugged into channel 2. I'm just going to, okay, I'll select my endpoints, and then you navigate up and down, or using the OK. So channel 2, I deflect it up, I take it down. So now that's at about 92%. So when I pull straight back, it's good, and when I push down, actually they look pretty much even as well. So that's good. So that's how I would adjust my Elevon endpoints. Now I tried to play around with my rudders as well, because I'd like to have a little bit more throw in my rudders. The problem with the rudders is because they're in and you can actually go up to a positive 120, I found. The problem with the rudders, and I'll just go down there. So when I do this, you can see there's an arrow here, so that when I went to the right there, that would adjust the direction going this way. The problem is that it doesn't change both servos at the same time. It'll change one, so I have like a bunch more deflection in one rudder and not as much in the other, and then when I come back the other way, more deflection in one rudder and not the other. So I'm just going to leave that the way that it is, but there's a possibility of being able to do that. You could also set your endpoints for channels 5 and 6 if you wanted, if you needed to fine tune those, but I'm not going to bother doing that because I'm pretty happy with how that went. So there's that's about as simple as it is. You can play around with it, get everything set up the way that you want, but I'm pretty happy with how this is going to go and be ready to fly. So I've got my throttle kill switches set up. I've got my mixes, my trims, or my Expo. Now I'm just going to show you, actually the trim is actually pretty sensitive, so I'm just going to go left, put a bunch of left trim in here. So that's full. It actually didn't move the control surfaces at all, so it's actually a pretty fine trim, which I actually like. So we'll move it back to the center. So you can, there. So it makes a bit of a louder beep there when you're dead center, so you'll know when you're flying. So yeah, so there it is. I think again that's just something to play around with. So again, if you need to adjust your Elevons, go into the Elevon menu. Remembering channel 1 is your roll, the roll part of your Elevons. If you want to adjust, have more throw there, and channel 2 is the pitch part of your Elevons. And then again, go into your to the mixes, and you can adjust your Elevon, your ailerons. Remembering that when you've had to reverse the channel, that the positive and negative in the mix will be reversed as well when you go to adjust the throws. And then, like I said, if you're in your Elevons, you know, if you want to adjust the throw to make sure that it's even when you pull straight back on the stick, you can go and adjust the endpoint of the particular servo, and that'll work it out. So it's actually pretty straightforward. I'm really impressed with how simple it is. So there we go, folks. Next up, we'll just be getting this little unit out to the field with this plane and giving her a rip and seeing how it feels in my hands, and you know, the response and all that sort of stuff at the field. But thus far, very excited. So thanks very much for watching. Blue skies, calm winds to everyone. Park jet noise, the other sound of freedom, baby. Take care.